Hello everybody, welcome back to Everyman Prepping, and it's an exciting time of the year. It's time to prep these things. And what are these things? Well, it's seed time, seedling time. Get your spring prepping ready. So it's time in my area where I live to start thinking about this, get ready for spring planting. So I figured I'll do a video with everything that I do here. I got a little sheet here. Everything that I do, I want to share with everybody. And might spark some things in you that you haven't done yet, something that you want to try. And, in the comments below, leave, what did I forget? Or what suggestions do you have? Let's help each other out. But this is what I go through every winter. It's February now. Great time to do it. No one's really thinking about it. Stores are stocked with things for spring planting, and you can get there before they run out. So like I said, this is what I do, and I wanted to share it with everybody there. I'll put links to some of the stuff that I have here. We'll go through everything. It'll be a little longer video than usual, but please stay to the end. I think it's a lot of important information, and hopefully you can learn something and get something out of this. So please like the video, share, comment, and if you're enjoying the channel, subscribe. So the first thing that I do is I draw a plot. So I know you're not gonna be able to see, it's in pencil and my chicken scratch writing, but I get paper out and I draw for every plot that I have out there. I draw, a scale size of how many rows, how big it is. Then I write on my thing how many okra plants, how many tomato plants, how many pepper plants, zucchini, whatever you're planting and growing. You write on here how many, so you have an idea of what can fit, what do you want to add, and then you know how many plants either you're going to grow yourself or have to go to the nursery. So garden plot like this, very useful. Also have notes on the bottom. How much fertilizer did I use? How much compost did I buy? How much watering did I do the previous year? So great to have one of these. Do one for every garden area you have. Whether it's raised bed, pots, or in the ground. Do this for every area you have. Get you a good start because it's going to tell you what you need to buy, grow, and so forth. That leads us to the next step. Buy seeds. Or not even buy seeds. Hopefully you've done what I suggested in some of my other videos, and I'll put it up here, I think, where it shows up, or here, I can't never remember what side, but hopefully you saved your own seeds from the previous harvest. That way there's no cost to you, and those seeds are already kind of microclimatized to your area. They grew here, you selected the best fruits, the best vegetables, and you're going to regrow those from those seeds. And every year you're going to get better quality fruit because they're for your specific area because they grew the best there. So whether you have those seeds or you need to buy them either locally from your local store or online, do that now. You did your maps, you did your map, how many of each type of plant you're gonna buy, you're gonna grow. And of course we always grow, extra. We always buy extra or germinate extra because some will die, things will happen. 2 is 1 is done. Always grow more than you need. And if you don't need them, give them to a neighbor. They can plant them. Give to a family member, whoever. Don't let it go to waste. Plant it somewhere, but always grow more. If you're looking for an online place, I get all my heirloom seeds. Once again, if you're going to save seeds, you're going to want to use heirloom seeds, not a hybrid, because what you get the next season won't be what you had the season before. So you want heirloom. I get all my heirloom seeds from rareseeds.com. That's just RAR seeds.com. Rare seeds, RERE seeds.com. They don't sponsor the channel or anything. I just go there. I love them. It's like $3 to $5 a packet of seeds. I always buy extra, like I said, in case I can't get them to the next year or they run out. I have 2 years supply at least. Sometimes go a little bit crazy and I have more, but get them from there. You can also go to your local nursery, and like I said, you have your own. So get your seeds. Now what do? You got to set up your, if you're going to plant your own seeds, you're going to set up a seed germination area. And that's what I have here. We're out in my barn, and I have a table. I put a tarp on it so to protect the table. Nothing, crazy there. And then this black thing here, this is a seed warming mat. I use this to help germination. And it's cool out right now. It's probably 40 some degrees, 45, 50 in here. Not the optimal 75, 80 for germination. So I use a seed mat, plug it in, put it on, and let it warm up, and I keep it on 24/7 as the seeds are germinating. I even run it while the plants are growing. I just feel it helps them grow longer. I put it on a timer after they germinate, so it's only on at night to keep them warm through the night. Whatever you want to do, but I feel a seed mat helps a ton. Like I said, I'll link it below. This one's, I think, 18 inches by 4 feet. I got a couple of them here next to each other, but definitely get a seed mat. Then containers. Are we going to buy containers, fancy containers? No. We're preppers, right? We keep everything. So these are, you know, bondy ones. I bought plants at nurseries before, you know, so I kept them. I've kept every container probably I've bought over like 10 years. I use these. They work great. Why would you pay money? Some people like to plant in peat pots. I plant in these. They work great. So never throw a container out. You know, the 6-pack, you're doing flowers or whatever. You know, use these too. Reuse everything. It's free. So make sure you have your seeding containers. Then, of course, you're going to need your potting soil, whatever potting soil you prefer from your local nursery, big box store, whatever. You know, get some potting soil. And then what I do is I usually get this at Costco. It's just your Miracle-Gro Shake. I mix it in with the potting soil when I get it wet before I put it into the cups. Give it a little boost to start with. So you can do that as well if you want to add some. You don't have to. I find out it helps though. And then, so we're growing obviously indoors, whether in your basement, guest room, in the house, the garage, outside in a barn, outbuilding, wherever you're germinating these seedlings, you're going to need light. So they're coming out with great lights these days. These are LED. This is 1500 watt equivalent. And it's got, you know, a bunch of LEDs. It's got 2 settings. You see here, it's got, let me see, I'll show you that. Veg and bloom. If you just want to go vegetation, that one, blooming, this one, I tell you the truth, I just keep them both on and go full spectrum the whole time. As soon as they germinate, this gets hung right above here. I got chains, you can't see them, but they're above. This gets hung, and I put on chains so I can lower it and raise it. Reason is you want it about 2 feet, 30 inches from the top of the plants, otherwise these will burn it. And these stay on about 12 hours a day, 12 to 14 hours a day. Put them on a timer, and you'll be good to go. I have 2 of these for this 6-foot table. I use 2 of these. You can probably get away with 1, but I have 2. They work great though. You gotta have that. So we have that, the light. So we have light, we have warmth, we have water, we have soil, we got plants, we have everything. Make sure you have timers, like I said. You can use your Christmas tree timer, Christmas light timers, whatever, because you want the lights on 12 to 14 hours a day. You can put your mat on a timer for only at night, you know, whatever you want to do. And as a tip for germination, what I do so you don't have to water is I wet my potting soil beforehand. Like I said, I mix a little fertilizer in, put the seeds in, and I cover this with plastic wrap, and I tighten it down. And then I lay a towel on top or a slight blanket. It's like, keep it warm, keep it nice and cozy. The plastic wrap keeps the moisture in, so you don't have to water until they germinate. Because sometimes you put seeds and they dry, you need to water. You're gonna pour the water and it's gonna push the seed out or mix it up and, you know, send it deeper. So just cover it with plastic wrap, put a little blanket on top before it germinates, and you'll get germination rates really quick and fast. I feel it helps a lot. So that'll start your germination. You got your plants laid out here, you water them, you got your seeds started. So what if you're not doing by seeds? You didn't save seeds, you don't have enough, you ran out. Like I said, and you don't want to grow them. You just don't want to grow seeds this year. You're going to buy them. Well, still, you have your garden plot. Make your list of what you need to buy from the nursery. Tomato plants, peppers, whatever you're buying from the nursery. Make a list, and then call that nursery or big box store and ask them, when are the plants coming in? Keep checking with them. When they first come in, go there when they come in. Get the first pick, because when it starts warming up, March, April, that time frame, people start heading out there. And they're gonna wipe the shelves out, and you won't get the varieties you want. You won't get the strongest, the biggest plants. So make the list now, have it with you, call the nurseries, keep calling them, find out when they come in, go when they come in. All right, let's move on from there. Winter time, so like I said, very cold. A lot of you have snow on the ground. Those of you that are in climates where it's not frozen soil, winter's the time you want to plant your bare root trees, your grapes, and your berries, if you have them. So go out and get those now. If you want to add some fruit trees, get the bare root ones. They should be in the nurseries right now. I know they are in my area. So call them up and see what they have. Same with you can do this with roses too, but grapes. It's a good time to plant the berries. Whether it be raspberry, blackberry, blueberry, whatever. It's a great time to do that now. If you want me to do a video on how to plant bare root trees and all that, let me know in the comments below, and I can do a video on that. I added 3 trees this year. I added an aprium, which is an apricot plum mix. I added another plum, and I also added, what else did I add? Oh, another apricot. So I added 3 trees, bare root, already got them in the ground. But I can do a video and talk about how that's done. So we take care of that. We got the seedlings counted for what we're doing. We got our bare root, fruit trees, berries, nut trees, whatever you're planting, taken care of. Now we got to start thinking about after, all these seedlings germinate, where we got to think about where we plant them, whether it's in a raised bed, in the ground, in pots. So have you done your tune-ups? Have you tuned up, this is my rototiller. Have you tuned up your rototiller? Have you tuned up your tractor? You changed the oil, the air filter, spark plug, the fuel, all that stuff. Do it now. I know it's cold out there and, whatever. Do it anyway, because when spring comes, you want to pull that starter and you want that thing to fire up and you go out there and work that soil. So take care of that now. Get it all done, out of the way. Do the same for your tools. Tune up your tools. Whether it be a small trowel, your shovels, make sure they're sharpened. Your hose, sharpen the tip of them for weeding and all that. Make sure they're clean, they work well, nothing's broken, nothing rotted. Buy the tools now, like I said, because people are creatures of habit. As soon as that sun warms up, as soon as the first few days, they run to the landscape store, big box store, buy everything out online. Get it now while there's no rush, and just make sure you have everything you need. So get your tools ready. All right, next on the list, let's see what we want to talk. I forgot to talk about these. We're talking about containers. These are canvas bags. I just got these this year. I haven't tried them yet. They're still in the bags, you can see. And these are 10-gallon ones, if you can see those. And what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to grow potatoes. I grow potatoes with the no-till method for potatoes under hay. I also grow them in buckets. And now this year I'm going to try these canvas bags. And I'll put a link to these as well. These come in different sizes. I got 10 gallons, there's 20 gallons, smaller ones. But I'm going to do these instead of buckets. Buckets, for the potatoes are plastic. Supposed to be food grade and everything, but I want to try to get away from the plastic. So I'm going to go into canvas here, try these this year. Maybe try some other strawberry plants like it shows, just to see. But these, I'm going to try these. I'll let you know how they work out. But instead of buckets for potatoes, I'm going to try those canvas bags and see how they work out. All right, moving on from there. So we have next is watering system. So how are we going to water all your plants out there? Do you have new hoses? I had a hose that basically got a sharp kink. Over the winter it froze and it ruptured. So I need a new hose. Got me a hose. Now in your garden, do you use a drip water system, drip tape? Do you use an irrigation style where you have like troughs and you let the water irrigate down the middle? Do you hand water? Whatever system you use, make sure it works and you have the supplies now. If you're frozen out there, you're not going to make sure it works. We can make sure you have parts for it. So if you have a drip system, you have all the hoses, the tape, the drippers, the sprayers, connectors, the pressure reducer valves, all that stuff. Go through it now. Make sure you have enough. If you're going to increase the number of rows, make sure you have enough half-inch poly pipe, connectors, all that stuff. Go through your watering system, your sprinkler system. Is it ready to go? Do you have backup parts for that? Do you have backup drippers? All that. Watering system, do it now. Make sure it's on hand. The worst thing you want to do is you got all these beautiful plants you just planted. They're raised, they're growing. And then you go put them in the dirt or the raised bed. And then you go to put them on the water system and, there's cracks in it. There's leaks in it. You need new hoses and you don't have it. So now you're stuck by watering with a hose by hand instead of automatically. So do it now so you can get a great head start on all this stuff. So get that watering system thought about. Next. Once again, I always go back to this. You have your map. What's this used for now? Like I said, I took notes on how much compost and fertilizer I used, so I know what to buy. So we need to get compost and fertilizer for these plants. Not just this little bit stuff I put when I first put them in the pots, but I'm talking about out in the garden when we put them. So if you know that you do a wheelbarrow per row, and a wheelbarrow is about a cubic foot, so then a cubic yard is 27 cubic feet and you have 20 rows. All right, maybe I should get a yard from the cubic yard delivered. And whatever you use, do the math now. Figure out the math. I have this many rows. I want to put this much in each row of compost. And if you can get it, if you're in a climate where you can get it now, get it delivered now while there's no rush. Pile it outside, tarp it off, wait till you need it. If you're in a climate in the north, Colorado, Idaho, Montana, it's still frozen. This is where you want to take notes. I know I need 2 cubic yards, 2 yards of compost. I'm going to call the nursery. I'm going to make sure when they're going to get it, and I have a list, on my board somewhere or on my desk. I know when I'm going to order it. It's ready to go. I already thought about it. I did the math. I know how much. So I know how much compost I need. And those of you that, like us, that me or you, whatever, have chickens, you have natural fertilizer. You have stuff coming out of there. Or if you have rabbits, quail, you have some animal that's producing some kind of manure. for you. Take that into account. See how much you have. Go look out where you've been stacking it. And if you're doing your own compost pile, go out and check it out. How much is there? That way you don't have to buy as much. Maybe you have enough that you don't need to buy any. Maybe you only need a few bags at the local store to supplement. Whatever. But don't forget about your chickens. Your chicken waste, the rabbits, the goat, whatever you're using. Take that into account. And if you have your own compost pile, like I said, estimate, that's a half a yard of my own compost, so I only need to buy one or half, whatever. Just figure it out. This is also when you want to, so that's just compost. Now you also want to get fertilizer. I use, a 6-8-6 or, a 15-15-15 balance, depends on the fruit tree or the garden. A lot of times I'll just buy straight nitrogen to help boost the nitrogen. My soil needs a lot of nitrogen, so I buy straight ammonium nitrate, and I put that in when I plant as well. I till it in to the ground. So figure out how much fertilizer you need, commercial fertilizer you want. If you want to go all organic, then stick to that. If you want to use some commercial fertilizer or mix them like I do that as well. But figure out how much you need. Buy it now, because we know fertilizers are already in short supply for the big farmers. It's going to trickle down and be more expensive. Get it in winter, store it in your barn, outbuilding, get that fertilizer bought, ready to go. And remember, definitely do the fruit trees. A lot of people won't do their fruit trees, but you'll get healthier fruit, bigger fruit, and more fruit by fertilizing in the early spring while they're blossoming, and then again while they're growing. And you'll just read up on what kind of tree you have, how big it is. Is it 1 or 2 pounds, 3 pounds in the drip lane, whatever it is. Figure out how many trees you have, how much fertilizer, convert that to how many bags. Go acquire the stuff. And by doing this now, if you don't have the money and the means to buy it all at once, this helps you buy a little bit at a time. Maybe there's sales coming on, you can buy it so you can spread out the cost. So it'll help you purchase things. Next, we'll talk about organic or chemical pesticides. I don't use any chemical pesticides. I use only a few organics. Other than that, I just let the plants fend from themselves. I know in some of the climates in the south, that's not possible. You have a lot more bugs. But decide for yourself, do you want to go organic or chemical or a mix? I don't have any chemical to share with you, but I'm going to share with you some of the organic stuff that I use out there. And the first one they don't have up here, I use a lot of, is diatomaceous earth, the food grade. So you can go to a feed store and get diatomaceous earth. It's just sea diatoms, like little seashell type things, or microscopic, and they grind them up, and it's a very fine powder. It feels just like powder, but to like slugs and snails and other insects, it's like glass. They crawl over it, it's like glass. So you can dust your plants with it. You can put it on the ground around plants. It's great for when you sow in the ground. When you're directly sowing zucchini, cucumber, okra, whatever you direct sow into the ground, you put that on top with maybe some of this other stuff. And that way when the slugs and snails and other things come to eat the seedlings as they emerge, it does a good job of deterring them and killing a lot of them, and it's all organic. Diatomaceous earth, you can eat it. That's why I use some of it. Sometimes put it in the chicken food to help their gut system. Great stuff. Next is Sluggo. So this is Sluggo Plus. It's organic, and it's great. What the heck is it? It's iron phosphate and spinosad. I'll put it up here. So it's for slugs, snails. What else they got on here? Pillbugs, roly-polies, whatever you call them, caterpillars. Sprinkle it on the ground, especially around your stuff that you just put on the ground for direct sow. Your leafy vegetables, your Swiss chard, your lettuce, things that just get mowed over by the bugs. This works great. What else do I have here? This is Captain Jack's Dead Bug Brew. This is great for killing stuff on like apples and pears. For the codling moth, tent caterpillars, spider mites, leaf miters, which is for citrus also. So it's organic as well. And you just spray it on there. You got to do it every couple weeks until they bloom. And then after they bloom, maybe once or twice more. I've had great results like this on the apple. I've had a lot of apples last year. Not a single codling moth worm inside. Good stuff, Captain Jack's. And lastly, copper fungicide. Spray with copper. This is for your stone fruits. To prevent leaf curl, mostly is what I use this for. Apricots, peaches, things like that, nectarines. Spray that on there. Now you got to do it before the blossoms come out, but you spray with copper, and it'll take care of a lot of that. So this is basically what I use. I don't really use anything. I use soapy water sometimes for aphids, just to suffocate them and that. So That's why if you want to use chemicals, some ortho products or whatever you want to use is fine. Just make sure you have enough of it now on hand now. You have enough now to last you the season. You won't be running out. One of the saddest things, you plant all the stuff, it's growing, and then bugs come and they mow it down, they infect it, they get into everything, and they ruin your hard work. Gardening is hard work. It is hard work. It's a lot of time involved, but it's a labor of love, and you're outside, you're with Mother Nature and the sun and the dirt, and it's healthy for you. But you don't want to go all that hard work to go to waste by having creatures eat it. So protect yourself. All right, what else do I have here? Oh yeah, great time. So this is the time where you want to prune your fruit trees and your nut trees and your berry bushes. Depending on your climate, the exact time, but winter is the time. Everything's dormant. You want to prune your fruit trees and your berries so you get more fruit the next year. And so the limbs aren't so heavy when they do bear fruit that they snap limbs off. So there's tons of videos on, based on what type of fruit tree you have. There's books, tons of stuff you can read on how to prune whatever variety you have. But go out there, prune your trees, your vines, your grapes, your berries, all that stuff. And then next we have mulch. I love mulching. I mulch in between my garden rows to keep weeds down. I mulch the fruit trees, also to keep weeds down, to keep the moisture in. I mulch the berries. I mulch almost everything. I mulch everywhere. So get mulch. Now, do you have to buy mulch? No. What you can do is what I suggested last summer when the landscapers are out and people are cutting trees down and they're chipping the tree and they're making wood chips. They got to pay to get rid of those. But most of them, almost all of them, will deliver it free to you. That's what I use. I use landscaping wood chips from the area. I know some landscapers. I call them up, ask them if they have any, and they just drop them off to me, piles of them. And I use that for mulching. It works great because, if you bury the wood chips, people tell you, well, it's bad because it sucks the nitrogen out of the ground, which it does. But this just goes on top. After you've tilled, planted, put the drip lines down or the watering system, you put this on top. And then it degrades from top down. It won't ruin your soil, won't deplete the nitrogen out of your soil. It starts on top. So get some mulch. Whether you buy it or you get it free from landscaper, wood chips, get some. Just as spring starts, if there's storms, if you're in an area that has storms and trees fall, well, those landscape companies, they're out there tree trimming, getting the trees out, and they're wood chipping those. They'll have it now even. So ask them and have them drop it off. It's free. It's great. Free is great. Now, lastly, what do I have on the list here? And that's the last is things in the garden you'll need as you go. And this is the last item I have. So that's like stakes, tomato cages, fencing, the ties to tie the limbs of tomatoes to the cage, or as the grapes grow, you want to tie them to your trellis. That stuff. Just make sure you have enough of that now. Before you start, you have when the plants are growing, you put the cage on there, you tying up the limbs, whatever you're doing. Staking things down. You want to put some fencing up because you let your chickens roam and you don't want them running through the garden. So you put up some fencing. Put that up. That concludes my list. That was about 12 items. I know it was long and all, but I figure if you go through all that, you do all this planning, you're going to have a successful spring garden. You're going to have a bountiful harvest in summer. You're going to have more than you can do with, which is great because that leads into canning and preserving food, which is the harvest of your labors, which is one of the greatest times of the summers when you enjoy your eating, can it and preserve it for winter, and you can have it throughout the winter. So doing these things, I believe you'll have healthier food. It's right outside. You're not relying on the store. You're not relying on the government. You're self-reliant. Like I said, it's healthier. It'll taste better. Your family will love it. Get the kids out there helping you. My family, we have jobs in the summer. So many rows belong to somebody, and they take care of weeding and take care of that. And then someone else gets so many other rows. They have different jobs. They own those rows, and it's their responsibility to make sure that those rows produce well and they're weed free, and give them a little responsibility, and they take pride in it. So it works out good. So once again, if you have suggestions, things I forgot, things maybe I screwed up, whatever, put them in the comments below. Share whatever knowledge you have. I really appreciate it. And once again, keep your ear to the ground, head on a swivel.